Hi YouTube, it is Leanne, and I am having my big adventure. My big adventure, of course, started when I made the decision to have vertical sleeve gastrectomy, but the actual big adventure doesn't start until the 13th of May when I start my pre-op diet, and then my surgery happens on the 23rd of May in Tijuana, Mexico, which means I am actually under 4 weeks out pre-op, which is like, whoa. When I made up my mind to do this, it was over, 7 weeks, and it seemed so far away, and now the time's just ticking by, and it's getting closer, and I don't feel at all like I have any doubts, or I'm nervous when I think about it, but I'm really ready. As a matter of fact, I've slacked at the gym lately. I haven't gone very often, and so I'm going to have to start from scratch when I go back. I have been eating what I want pretty much, not huge quantities, but pretty much what I want, and you know what? I feel like shit. I feel terrible. When I had the period of time before Christmas where I did low carb for a couple of months, I felt fabulous. And having tossed all that down the toilet, plus not making it to the gym regularly, it's just a freaking huge difference in the way I feel. I just feel like crap. And so the more I feel like crap, the more eager I am to just get rolling with this thing. And then just a little sidebar here. Go to Costco, get dog food. We have 2 big dogs, and they don't sell them in 50-pound bags there. They sell them in 40-pound bags. So I bought a couple 40-pound bags of dog food and brought them home and unloaded them from the car. Usually my husband does that. And oh my God, I could barely lift them. And I do this often. It's just that I don't think about it as, oh, this here's 40 pounds, and plus another one makes 80 pounds. And as I muscled them over to where we keep the dog food one at a time, I'm thinking, let's just imagine these 2 bags of dog food distributed all over my body and me carrying it around, plus a 20-pound bag of dog food on top of that. That's how much overweight I am, 100 pounds. And when you think about it in those terms, like you're lifting a 40-pound bag of dog food, you realize how heavy that is, times 2 plus 20. It's kind of unimaginable. So it'll be, and I do remember from when I got down to my goal before, how incredible it felt to feel light, I felt like I had a bounce in my step, and I had lots of energy, and that was a long time ago, but I do remember what that feels like, so I'm looking forward to it again. A couple more things I'm looking forward to is now on the way down to Tijuana, I may have to have a seatbelt extension, although the last time I flew, which was a few months ago, I barely managed without. So I don't know, but lucky me, I happen to own one because I stole it. When I went to Mexico for a vacation about a year ago, it was so humiliating. I'm with my son and his wife and all of that, and I had to ask for a seatbelt extension. And when the flight was over and everybody's kind of crowding into the aisles to get off the plane, here I've got this thing and I'm juggling it in my carry-on, and I stuck it in the side pocket of my carry-on thinking I would leave it with the lady on the way out, but then I got to thinking as I wound my way up the aisle, maybe I don't want to give it back to the lady. Maybe I just want to keep it, and that way when I fly I don't have to ask for it and I won't be so humiliated. Ugh. Anyway, so I'm a stealer. But I'll give it back when I don't need it anymore. I'll give it back. In fact, if I use it on the way home from surgery, I'm going to leave it in the seat behind me because I'll never need one again. I can hardly wait. Honestly, I can hardly wait. I won't have to worry when I go eat at a restaurant, if I ever do, about whether I'm going to be comfortable in a booth. I mean, who wants to be in a booth with the table digging into your stomach. You got your boobs hanging out over the table, which is a problem anyway, a big old shelf that catches everything. I'm going to be so glad when I don't have to look to see if the table is bolted to the ground so that I can move it to adjust it for myself. I'll be so glad. Those are just a couple of things. I have a question for all of you. This is just full of random stuff, so I apologize. I keep a little list between videos of the things I want to ask or talk about, and they aren't in any particular order, and I try to organize them before I started, but it's like, they're just so random. There's no organizing them. One of the things I'm nervous about is feeding my husband. My kids are grown and gone, but they eat here a lot. I'm like the grandma that cooks a big, huge mashed potatoes and gravy meal for everybody, and they can count on Nana to feed them really well. And I'm just not gonna try to do that, at least not for a long time. And I have been making, when I make Tim's favorite dinners, now I make more, and I vacuum seal portions for him, so he'll have like a month's worth of meals for when I get home. And hopefully he won't feel too deprived, because I just told him, I mean, food is a big deal to him, having his dinner every night, and I just told him, I'm not going to be able to do that for a while. You're going to have to, bear with me. So I'll do my best to prepare for that so that you have things to eat, but I'm not going to go cooking away all kinds of stuff that I don't want to be eating anymore. So we'll see how it works out, and maybe I can get him to do low carb. He could use it too. I read a little. I'm reading some stuff. I'm always reading some stuff about this, and one of the books I read, I can't remember which one, had this suggestion that I've ended up actually trying. Well, not on purpose, but it says that you're going to be tempted to cheat, and you're going to go to the store and you're going to see those donuts, maple bars, Hostess Twinkies, whatever your ice cream, whatever your weakness is. And if you can't resist buying it, then buy it. Bring it home and eat until you're full, which won't be too long, and then just waste the rest of it. Just throw it away, even if it costs a lot of money. Just pour it down the garbage disposal, or throw it to in my case, throw it to the chickens or whatever. But don't keep it around, because most of us can't have that stuff around, because if it's there, we eat it. So as it happened, I read that and thought, right, I'm going to throw away a whole bag of Oreos or whatever. But then a couple of times I have caved and bought a few things that I've brought home and felt guilty, and things I normally never buy just because I love them too much, and had some, and then got disgusted with myself and just marched to whatever receptacle and threw them away. And I mean threw them away such that I wouldn't want to be digging them out. So it felt really good. It felt like, I can do this. I don't waste, I've been on a zillion diets, and 1,000 years ago I went to a place called the Weight Loss Center in Tacoma, Washington, and they put me on a ridiculous diet, and I lost 80 pounds. But one of the things one of the counselors said to me was, I had little kids at the time, and I was telling her how hard it is to scrape their leftovers into the garbage, and how I always ate them. It's like, it's such a waste to just throw food away like that. And she said, really, how much of a waste is it? Is it more of a waste to be in the garbage can, or is it more of a waste to add up as a roll around your middle? It's wasted either way, whether you throw it in the garbage or whether you put it in your mouth and then have it show up again in the form of more fat. And something about that just really resonated with me, and ever since then, like I said, that was when my second daughter was 2 years old, so she's in her 30s now, so that was a long time ago. But I've always remembered that. I've always remembered that wasting, the word, when you waste it, it's you can look at it two ways. I'm wasting money, I'm wasting food by throwing it in the garbage, or I'm wasting it by wrapping it around my midsection. What else? I was going to talk a little bit about my history and I've been in therapy for years, off and on, trying to figure out why I have this addiction to food, and why I have this image of myself. And of course, I figured it out a long time ago. Unfortunately, that doesn't make it so that I can just stop being addicted to food just because I understand where it came from. Now it's a terrible habit. My mom was and is, well, not so much anymore, but always was a very slim, slender, willowy woman. My dad is like me. He's more big. I take after him physically, and not my mom. But that's all she ever knew, was being super skinny. And so from the time I was a little girl, she hovered over me and worried about my weight. And I grew up thinking I was a fat kid. She made special meals for me. The rest of the family's having spaghetti. Now I'm having a broiled hamburger patty and a lettuce wedge, etc., etc. She watched every bite I put in my mouth and nagged me about chewing and eating slowly and putting my fork down in between. And anytime I reached for more or started to want something that wasn't good for me, she always, even to this day, had I not stopped her a few years ago, she would say, "Do you really need that?" And the saddest thing is that when I look back at pictures of myself when I was a little girl, I wasn't fat. I wasn't skin and bones, but I was normal. I mean, totally normal. But, like on Halloween, we all dress up and we go out trick-or-treating, except for I don't get to carry a bag to collect candy. Everyone else does, my brother and the friends that we go with. But I have a UNICEF box, and I only get to collect pennies from trick-or-treating. And the Easter bunny brought me a stuffed animal and bought my brother a chocolate bunny, etc., etc., And then when I reached adulthood, it didn't stop. Every gift-giving occasion, she'd buy me a diet book or a meal or tell me about some things she saw on an infomercial or whatever. So, and I know she wasn't doing this to hurt me, and she wasn't, didn't have diabolical incentives behind it. She thought she was doing the right thing and thought she was helping me, but it didn't help me. All it did was make me feel like I wasn't good enough, and that was all she saw in me, was that I was fat. So that's where it comes from, and I think there are probably many of us out there who had moms like that. But that's programming. From the time you're little, if whatever messages your parents are giving you over and over is what you believe, because your parents are all-knowing when you're a kid. You just know that they... when they take you to the doctor when you're 10 years old and have the doctor prescribe diet pills, aka speed, it's like, I don't know. So I've been kind of battling. I don't know for sure because I'm not a psychiatrist, but I can't help but think that has a lot to do with why I have this issue so bad in my life. That plus I did inherit my dad's body type and all of that, and it certainly is not like mom's. Like my brother was born with her body type and takes after her, and he's skinny as a rail. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has stories like that to tell. I'm really, really enjoying. I still watch just videos until I can't keep my eyes open at night anymore. I don't know why. I really don't want to make this thing my whole life. I recognize that right now, as I'm approaching surgery, it's on my mind a lot. Although I must say, things have settled down up here so that I'm not like 24/7 talking about it and obsessing about it. But it is on my mind, of course, because it's going to my whole life will change. My way of living will change. I'm giving up a huge and horrible part of my life. And that's good, and it's scary, so of course I'm thinking about it. And afterwards I'm going to really be focused, of course, because I'm going to be having to learn all the things that you all that have done this already are having to learn or had to learn. But I really don't want... one of the things I've hated about my life is that one way or the other I'm always freaking focused on food. I'm either worrying about being too fat, wishing I were on a diet, being on a diet and being at whatever stage of that excitement, motivation, and then quickly frustration and cheating and failure. I mean, one way or the other, I'm always thinking about food and about my fat and about how I look and how, I feel. And I'm so tired of that. I really want to get to a place where this becomes, the new way of eating becomes my norm, and it ain't no thing. I want it to be, this is what I do now. And anyway, I'm going to go on and live the rest of my life while I do this, and it's not going to be like the end all and the everything in my life. My poor husband, I think he's probably sick. I try hard not to bore him with it. Not that I'm saying he's bored, but he's been very tolerant as I tell him stuff. I'm a blabbermouth anyway, so he's used to it. Anyway, so I just really appreciate all of you out there. I keep subscribing to more and more people because there are so many great folks out there, and I'm more and more into following folks that are kind of on my timeline that either haven't had their surgery yet, but it's coming up, or just have had their surgery. And I cannot tell you how helpful your information, your experiences, your input is to me. And I'm working hard at being supportive, and I enjoy that anyway. I'm one of those kinds of people. But anyway, this has gone on too long, I'm sure. I really want to not do these long videos, but if I'm going to say everything, I guess I'm going to have to. So sorry if I'm boring. I'm trying to make them at least moderately interesting. So I don't know when I'll be back, when I have another list that I better get to. Anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope it's sunny where you are, and have a great day. Peace.